Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday to you. This is Blair Miller at the First Alert Desk here in the Atlanta News First newsroom, and hope you're having a great Thursday. We've almost made it to the end of the week. I know it's been a full week of news happening, and certainly warming up out there. We'll be talking with Cutter Martin here shortly as we approach what will be officially fall this weekend, and they're talking about possible heat waves, so we'll get more from Cutter here in a few minutes. But first, I want to bring you some of the major stories we're following here in our newsroom tonight, some of what we're covering, getting ready for our 10 and 11 o'clock newscast. Just wrapped up one of our editorial meetings, talking about some of the stories we're working on here tonight. We have, a lot of focus on the campaigns right now, and both president candidates are campaigning pretty hard tonight, and know that tomorrow the vice president will be here in Atlanta tomorrow, really bringing one of these top issues front and center that we've been talking about to try and get some votes. And as we get started here, I want to bring you some of the top stories we're following here tonight.
Vice President Kamala Harris hosts a virtual rally with Oprah Winfrey before traveling to Georgia tomorrow. Tonight, former President Donald Trump focuses on fighting anti-Semitism. The Postmaster General working to reassure people who vote by mail.
Let me be clear. The Postal Service is ready to deliver the nation's mail-in ballots.
Atlanta's sixth largest skyscraper converting its upper floors into 400 apartments. The 51-story Georgia Pacific Tower sits at the corner of Peachtree and John Wesley Dom. Dozens of Georgia students marched to the state capitol, demanding stricter gun laws in the wake of the deadly Appalachia High School shooting. A suspected serial rapist off the streets in Clayton County. 27-year-old Edward Huffman is accused of drugging and assaulting multiple women. The North Georgia State Fair returns to Marietta starting tonight. Mr. Beast accused of creating unsafe work conditions. The internet star sued by former contestants who competed on his reality TV show.
So that's a quick rundown of some of the top stories we're following here tonight, and I want to boil down on one of those that got a lot of attention today and still getting attention tonight. One of the stories we're working on for this evening is Georgia students very much upset by what happened at Appalachia High School just a couple weeks ago. Some students started today walking out of class today over talking about our state's gun laws, and they want attention on this very issue. Our Madeline Montgomery is talking with students tonight about how they're getting ready to walk out tomorrow and how they're planning to deal with this tomorrow and bring attention to this. But our Brittany Ford was at the state capitol earlier today, focusing on some of the walkouts we saw today and what these students really want to see happen.
10, 11, and 12-year-olds at Morgan Oliver Middle School took to the Capitol Thursday, urging state leaders to address gun control.
Nobody should ever give a kid a gun.
Spirited efforts in light of the Appalachia school shooting that left 4 dead and several injured. And they're not alone.
The Georgia Youth Justice Coalition has many high school student leaders on our team and in our membership statewide who were feeling so much grief and so much fear after the shooting, and they immediately wanted to take action.
The Georgia Youth Justice Coalition is supporting hundreds of students on campuses across the state who are planning to walk out of class Friday, pushing state leaders to pass stricter gun policies. Yana Batra is a member of the coalition.
This is a deliberate policy choice that they make every day, not to pass the kind of common sense gun safety legislation that we know can stop shootings like this.
Anytime any of these things happen, it's a tragedy.
Jerry Henry is executive director at the Georgia Second Amendment. He says better school protections and mental health resources are what's needed.
You can't blame it on the gun because it was not the gun's fault. You had a kid up there that was mentally deranged, and he's the one that did the shooting, and he's the one that should be subject to that.
Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
So again, we're expecting some more of these walkouts to potentially happen tomorrow in different districts. And so our Madeline Montgomery, we just spoke with her, getting an update on some of her reporting tonight, talking with some of the students about, what this means to them, how they plan to do this, but really also, talking with the school districts about how they're dealing with this. In some of the walkouts today, some of the schools are supportive of this, and so we'll have more on this coming up tonight at 10, 11. Now, before I turn it over to Cutter Martin, I want to bring you really what has become my favorite story of the day. And these are live pictures right now. I know it's a softball game, but this is a record-breaking softball game here in Metro Atlanta. Now in its 59th hour, And this is a live look of what's happening at Dellinger Park. This is in Cartersville. The nonprofit Men Opposing Sex Trafficking just broke the record for Georgia's longest softball game, at least in Georgia, that is. But some of what they've been doing out here, as we show you these live pictures, is they're trying to break the Guinness World Record for world's longest game, not just in Georgia. The current record is 115. These men are trying to break 121. Players have been sleeping in the dugouts there, eating on the field, and can only step away for a 5-minute bathroom break. So they plan to play until Sunday morning at 9 a.m. if they want to break that record. And you can see some of their families sitting off in the distance there. I imagine that's the only way they're going to see them over the next couple of days. But as we focus on what they're doing, I want to bring in Cutter Martin because it's going to get, as they approach that record, or try to at least on Sunday, it's going to be pretty hot out there for them, right, Cutter?
Yeah, absolutely, Blair. Trending hotter. It's kind of hot today. Temperatures in the upper 80s and will only get hotter as we get into the weekend coming up. I'll go ahead and take a live look outside here for you. And again, the clear sky, the amount of sunshine that we have out there certainly playing a role in just how warm it has been able to get across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. So we're going to be switching over our graphics here momentarily and pulling up our sky cam and taking a live look outside. Of course, the sun has set, so temperatures cooling just a little bit. That's a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and it is a warm one out there still. Temperatures, in fact, warmer than it was this time yesterday. So temperatures warmer now, and the warming trend will continue. That is kind of the headline of the forecast. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in and for watching. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns about the forecast, whether it's about the temperature or maybe, we have tropics to watch, and we do, and we've been talking about that. If you have any questions in that regard as well, certainly something that we can chat about, text us at 470-777-9263. That's 470-777 WANF, and I'll be answering those questions that come in. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube, the Atlanta News First YouTube account. That's perhaps one of the best places to ask those questions as well. So again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. Now that we have our graphics up, we're going to go ahead and start talking temperature outside right now. Still 81 degrees at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So it is certainly a warm one out there after reaching highs in the upper 80s across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Keep in mind, average temperature for this time of year is in the lower 80s in the city. So well above average. And, you hear the term heat wave. In reality, it's something that's usually confined to the heart of the summer season. But when we have multiple days of well above average temperatures to an extent, that is a heat wave. But it's not going to be like a July heat wave or an August heat wave. We're talking temperatures 3, 5, 7 degrees warmer than average, yes, but nothing too crazy out there, considering it's still September and considering we've had many mid-90s on up degree afternoons so far this summer season, and we're not looking at mid-90s, but we are looking at warmer temperatures, and we'll be breaking that down here for you, how hot we get, how long it lasts, coming up in just a minute. Do want to first kind of give you the hour-by-hour forecast, walk you through the rest of this evening. Temperatures will cool a little bit, though still warm out there. With temperatures cooling from the 80s back into the upper 70s by 9 p.m. So a couple degrees cooler within the next hour. We're kind of on pace for this gradual cool down into the upper 70s and then middle 70s. And then briefly for a time tomorrow, we're going to wake up to temperatures that will bottom out, reach their coolest point before, about 7:45, 8:15 or so in the morning. And that low in Atlanta forecast to be 68. Cooler up in LJ right at 60. Most are in the mid to upper 60s. City of Atlanta points south, now low to mid 60s from the North Metro on up into the mountains. And notice the normal low is 65 degrees at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And tomorrow 68 would again put us warmer than average, warmer than it should be on any given September 20th morning. And that trend continues into the afternoon. Now between morning low and afternoon high, it's a quick warm-up. Morning commute forecast tomorrow, kind of getting an idea of that. Temperatures in the upper 60s, kind of sitting out there through the, we'll call it the heart of the morning commute, 8 a.m. And then by the latter portion of the morning drive-in, 9 a.m., we're back in the lower 70s. Still a green light. No significant weather woes, no concerns with the first alert forecast with temperatures mild to warm, and visibility pretty good. Could be some patchy fog in our lower spots, our river valleys. Very typical for this time of year. For example, if you're driving in from the northwest side tomorrow morning, driving over the Chattahoochee Bridge, may notice a little bit of fog over the river. Then some of our lower spots in our more, lower lying areas and more, wide but shallow rivers, it could be some patchy fog. But again, not a big issue for the drive in. Here's a more substantial warm-up as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures in the lower 80s by noon and in the mid to upper 80s in the afternoon. In fact, I think some neighborhoods could reach 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon. We're in the upper 80s this afternoon. So easy to reach that. Wouldn't be too surprised if one or two spots briefly hit 90 degrees around the metro. And we are forecasting some of our further out communities to reach 90 degrees. Again, today's high temperature as of 4:34, 88, but we're going to be getting here momentarily, probably by the end of this stream, 8:15, 8:25, the updated official high temperature for the day, but at least 88 degrees. And it's possible we got just a bit warmer. So tomorrow's 89 would be, once again, one more degree warmer, an additional degree hotter. So the warming trend continues. Forecast to get close to 90 in LaGrange, Eatonton, Athens, 89, the same. Rome, you are forecast to get to 92 tomorrow afternoon. Average high in Atlanta, 83. Tomorrow forecast to be 89. So we are now well above average in the first alert forecast. Mountain communities also well above average, though cooler than the city of Atlanta, with temperatures peaking in the mid-80s. Humidity, not too bad, but maybe just a skosh, just a little bit. Humid out there tomorrow afternoon, more so evening as the sun angle gets lower and the temperature starts to cool. Humidity will not rule the afternoons the next several days, but it will feel just a bit more humid after the sun sets. Noticing that trend even this evening. And, of course, Friday, talking about warm weather, but it's the North Georgia State Fair, kind of typically synonymous with the bleed into fall here. And, technically Sunday is the first official day of the autumn season. So, yes, we're looking at fall activities. We're talking about the Friday North Georgia State Fair. That's going to be at Jim R. Miller Park up outside of Marietta in Cobb County. Today was day one, tomorrow day two, and it's the first Friday evening of the fair. So we're going to head on out. Atlanta News First will be live from the fair tomorrow afternoon. But again, right now, it's looking dry, but it will be warm. Temperatures trending warmer heading into the weekend. And tomorrow, 89. Back into the 70s by fair time. Again, just a little bit more humidity, but decent weather for the fair. And then 90 degrees Saturday if you're headed to the fair Saturday. 91 Sunday. That is well above average, nearly 10 degrees above average based on this current forecast. Sunday afternoon. And ironically, that is the first official day of the fall or autumn season. Monday, back to 90 degrees. Still hot, still hotter than average. In fact, each day in this particular first alert 7-day forecast is at least 3 degrees, if not more, hotter than it should be in the afternoons this time of year. And mornings trending warmer as well. We're back up above 70 degrees as we get into Tuesday morning, and we'll be at 70 or warmer based on the latest data. Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, possibly even into next Thursday morning. So certainly we are trending hotter, trending warmer in the first alert forecast. Maybe not record-breaking, but warmer than it should be for this time of year. So we're talking about summer, the end of it. And ironically, we're talking about some of the warmest weather we've seen here in a few weeks. And also, we are talking about another symptom of summer. We are watching the tropics. In particular, while there are several areas we're watching, two of those yellow polygons in the central Atlantic, not imminent threats, and one is a little more likely to develop in the long term here than the other beyond the next 7 days. But chances of development within the next 7 days with those are low, hence the yellow shading. Back a little bit closer to home, though, watching the Western Caribbean and Southern Gulf of Mexico as showers and thunderstorms are concerned. Not much going on right now. It's fairly quiet, but storminess is forecast to lift up and out of Central America and South America and back over the warm waters of the far southern Gulf of Mexico, just off the northern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula and then into the Western Caribbean. And as that, persistent storminess kind of percolates over the very warm ocean waters, a more concentrated area of low pressure may form, becoming our next tropical system. Now, there's uncertainty here, but right now a 40% chance of tropical development within the next 7 days. And I do expect as confidence increases as we get closer and closer to that, 6, 7, 8, 9 days away sort of time period, we're going to see this chance of development increase. Now, what exactly it becomes, where does it form in this area, and where does it go, still have yet to be determined. Can't be answered at this time. We don't even have any concentrated storminess to track over the ocean at this time. So a lot of uncertainty. You're probably seeing some crazy images floating around social media, and that is another symptom of hurricane season. People tend to share these crazy, awful scenarios that some computer models occasionally do throw out. But what we can say with certainty is that we are uncertain. We don't know. And there's anything specific at this point is simply speculation. But if you do have travel plans in the Western Caribbean, over the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun, Cozumel, Playa del Carmen, if you have travel plans to anywhere on the Gulf Coast even, within the next, 6 or so to maybe 10, 11 days, this is going to be something you will want to keep an eye on, and we'll be here to keep you updated as we go through the peak of hurricane season, now just beyond the peak, but still a very active time period. This is not at all unusual, and we are here to do our job to keep you updated on Atlanta News First, streaming on Atlanta News First Plus, like right now, and in the First Alert weather app. In fact, First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna will have a new forecast update regarding our local forecast here, and we're talking tropics occasionally as well in these updates at this point. And you can get those updates in the First Alert weather app. And of course, as we get more confidence, as we get more information, and as storminess starts to increase, we will send more frequent tropical updates in the First Alert weather app. Also, streaming the newscast, the 10 p.m. newscast will be streaming tonight on Atlanta News First Plus and at atlantanewsfirst.com. You can stream it in either app, weather or news app as well. And then back on Atlanta News First at 11 p.m. WNF, First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna will walk you through the complete First Alert forecast. We're taking a live look outside Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport right now. I want to thank you for watching. Have a good evening. And again, if you are excited about the hot weather, get outside and enjoy it. Great weekend for the pool plans, headed to the lake. Get outside and enjoy it, because before we know it, if you like the heat, you're going to be unhappy. Of course, fall is on the way, eventually winter and colder weather too. So make the most of it, get outside and enjoy it. Full forecast coming your way starting in the 10 o'clock hour.